Sims, let's go.
Hello, everyone. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're watching the GSL Talk Show. Tonight, we're going to be chatting with Miss Karen Dittman, so stay tuned.
That I'm not the type of girl that goes around.
Welcome back to the GSL Talk Show. I'm here with Miss Karen Dittman. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Miracle?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to have you here on the GSL Talk Show.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad to have you here. Looking forward to get to know you and your endeavors. So, can you
Yeah.
tell me where you're from and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I live in Colorado, north of Denver, so kind of in a small town. Um, and I am a mom, I am a grandma, I have two adopted kids. I have a bio kid who, surprise, surprise, came along right before our 25th anniversary. We found out we were pregnant. Yeah. Yeah. So God has a sense of humor, and my life is proof of that.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, when was that? Like a few months ago? 'Cause
I am blessed with genes that keep me looking younger than I am. So,
yes, I mean, goodness gracious.
yeah.
You already got me when you said grandchildren, but then you say you just had. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know if you said you just had one, but
Yeah. She's 10 now. So it's,
oh,
yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
No, don't tell me this is one of those biblical stories of.
People used to say, "So do you feel like Sarah and Abraham?" And I was like, "No, we're not that old, but maybe Elizabeth and Zechariah."
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're actually we're teaching the kids that in the children's ministry, so that's so funny that
Oh,
wow,
that's
look at
funny.
God all the time. But
Yeah.
anywho, well, I mean that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How'd you feel starting over, as they say?
Um, oh, I was absolutely in shock when I found out I was pregnant, especially because our older two kids, like I said, they're adopted. So
Mm.
we didn't think we would ever be able to have a baby. And
Oh,
we weren't trying. We were way beyond trying.
yeah.
And like I said, God has a sense of humor. So
Mm.
yeah.
You said my time
Yeah.
and not y'all's
Yeah.
time.
But she is, I mean, she is just a joy and a delight. It has been such a blessing to have her in our life now. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And she's a
yeah.
great auntie to her little nieces too, so
Awesome. That's so awesome, man.
yeah.
You know what's God be glory. Look, you and your growing family, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, and I mean, so how did the I mean, I'm sure the adopted children,
Mhm.
was like, oh, little sis, like
Yeah, and they were 13 and 15, so they were like, "Oh, mom, dad." A little bit of that teenage
right.
cringe factor. But yeah, my, daughter who was 13 when our youngest was born had
Hmm.
been just hoping and praying desperately for another baby. She didn't want to
No.
be the youngest. She wanted to have a sibling, and so we looked at her and said, "This is the answer to your prayers, sweetheart."
Your fault. That is so interesting because usually people do want to be the baby. So she's
Mhm.
like, no, I want to be the middle child. Usually you hear things about the middle children. So that's
Yeah,
interesting.
she always, like, knowing that she and her brother were adopted, she grew up just with such a heart for adoption.
Mhm.
At that time in her life, she was ready to grow up and move to Haiti and start an orphanage. She
Wow.
just really had a heart. So she really wanted us to adopt more kids, and we
Oh.
prayed and we're like, "God's not saying yes to this, sweetheart. I'm sorry."
Mm.
So but she has always just had a heart and a love for little ones. So,
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh, that's amazing. Look, that's a whole conversation all by itself.
It is. I mean, we could have so many different conversations, Miracle. It's
Yes.
yeah.
Like with the adoption and then with the, I hate to say late birth, right? But I mean, I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
considerably and
The
stuff like that.
technically yeah, the technically geriatric pregnancy, as they call it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I know that honestly, yeah, there's the narratives that talk about, having the children before a certain age and how, so I mean, obviously you broke the mold because can do whatever he want to do. So,
Exactly, exactly, yes.
but was that like a concern or something like that? Or,
It was a little bit for me, and one day when I was really early in my pregnancy, my husband was like, because I wasn't just, at 35 they call it a geriatric pregnancy. I was over 45.
wow.
So, uh, my husband was like looking up some stuff online, and he was like, "Do you want to hear what I'm finding?" I'm like, "Nope, do not want
Mm-mm.
to add to my worries, my fears, my anything." And he said, "Wait, you need to hear this one." He said, "I'm reading that experts say it is virtually impossible for a woman to get pregnant with her own eggs over the age of 45. And any of these celebrities that you hear about that are pregnant at 45 or older, it's through donor, eggs
Mm-mm.
and not insemination, through IVF or something like that." I'm like, "Well,
Mm.
like you said, this is what God had in mind."
Exactly. It's a
Yeah,
miracle.
it is. It absolutely is. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and just plug your,
I
pick all
know.
little questions about this
Yeah.
particular thing, but I'm sure you have something in particular you want to come share with us. I don't want to bombard you with just like, all the details
Yeah.
on that, unless you want to, whatever, however you want to,
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, and through the years, we have been through so many unexpected and crazy things with our kids and our family. I mean, we've dealt with, I just said adoption. We had
Mhm.
the baby much later than expected. Um, our kids have wrestled with ADHD
Mm,
and anxiety. I have a granddaughter with autism,
mm,
and then my older daughter fell into addiction for a while. So we
mm,
have dealt with so many hard things in this journey as parents.
mm,
But the thing is, I have found that God's grace has been able to just pour into our lives. And when we fall into survival mode, He comes in and He lifts us up and
mm,
helps us to thrive. So I wrote
mm,
a book about it, and I wrote a book about grace and
mm.
thriving. Um, so it's called Thriving in Grace: Unleashing Wellness from a Biblical Perspective. Mm.
Sounds like some stuff I need to hear because look, I've been on this journey with those that watch the channel, they know it already. But long story short, we decided to do the virtual public school route with our son. And
Mhm,
so
mhm,
I'm his learning coach. He has a teacher online and all this stuff like, but of course the person that's there day to day with him is me. And over the
mhm,
past few weeks, it's been look, I'm glad I'm going on vacation in a few days, and it's gonna be a girls' trip, leaving them husband, leaving my kid type of
mm,
thing. But I'm like, I need it because, like, even today, trying to get him to focus and stuff, and he's in kindergarten, but think he know everything, and think he know more than me, and it's like, oh my gosh! And then the little attitude he has sometimes when he tries to like answer the questions, like I said, such and such, like he's teaching me or something. I'm like, oh
mhm,
my god. So, I
mhm.
mean, I feel like you have wisdom to bestow.
Oh,
Mother to
and
mother,
miracle.
parent to parent.
Yes, miracle. I hear you. I have been there. My only son graduated from a virtual public high school,
Mm.
and it
Look at the Lord.
was, yeah, mom having to motivate and push him through that. That was not easy. So I know what you're going through.
Mm.
And right now, our 10-year-old is in it's kind of like a homeschool pod. We have got a tutor who works with all the kids,
Mm.
but she has been really struggling with some just mental health issues in the last few weeks. And
Okay.
so we've been getting her work from her teacher, and she's been staying at home and doing it for the last 2 weeks.
Mm.
And again, yeah, it's been on mom to be the encourager and the motivator. And when she doesn't want to, how do you push them to do it? I wish I had the answers to that, because that is hard. I hear you.
And so that's interesting. Man, look, it seems like even more than I thought. See, this is what the Lord keep doing to me in my life. It is so funny because again, every time I have conversations with, one of you amazing people that come on GSL, it fits my situation that I'm currently going through or whatever. And then of course, like I told you earlier, it's gonna come out in the future. So who knows, like, who's gonna touch at that particular time too. But yes, like I said, the past few weeks have been like a little bit of a struggle because I'm like, we only got a couple more weeks, you know what I'm saying? It's about to be winter break. You just got out of fall break. Like, come on, let's get this done, you know? And I mean, and I don't want to regret the choice because I do stand strong by our choice. Now I feel good. Like there's all these amazing moments that we've been able to have with the homeschool. Like I said, it's virtual public schools. So it's not like I'm coming up with curriculum or any of that type of, I'm just pretty much logging him in, making sure he's doing it, reading for him when he can't, you know what I mean? Because he's, well, he started off as 5, now he's 6, but it's kindergarten. So, and all of that. But it's very interesting too, because he had to do like portfolios and they call it that anyway, but it's like, and he has to write sentences and you're like, how is he going to do this when he, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
but,
gosh.
So I mean, on one hand, okay, so I'm gonna make this assumption. It's just an assumption. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So did your son, was it COVID was the reasons for, or were you guys already doing it?
So I had homeschooled him and his sister when they were younger. And then he went to a Christian high school and it was not really the right fit for him academically. So he came home and he did online school from his sophomore through senior year. Wow. So it was, the thing that I say about homeschooling, the beauty of that is that kids can succeed at their own pace. They don't have to be right in the same, with the pack, with everybody else. So it was what he needed. And he needed a break for a while. So after he graduated from high school, he was like, this is it. I am done. And now it's been, 5 or 6 years since he graduated from high school, and he's restarted. He's taking college classes. And it's so funny because the online school is so hard because of the need to be self-motivated and self-paced and everything. So he's gone back to school and he's taking online college classes and he is succeeding and he is doing amazing. So he's figured out what he needs to do in order to succeed on his own. Yeah. So, so there's hope.
Yes. And I see, I don't know how long I'm going to go into journey. I mean, on one hand, what we're under, it does go from K to 12. So he could go his whole time, doing it this way. Obviously it's something that me and my husband didn't experience, but at the same time, just even when we first started it, like these cute moments of just like being able to play worship music while he's eating his lunch, or, just he's able to like write that, there was something that, it was like a review or something that they had him to write, and he had to kind of like, write something out or whatever. And as he was doing it or drawing, whatever it was, and he's listening to his like certain his little music that he wants to listen to, and just things that I'm like, if he was sitting in a classroom, there's no way, you know what I'm saying, that he would be able to get this personalized experience. Like we would start off with affirmations. I need to get back on it because I did kind of slip on some of the normal stuff because I do work part-time and, stuff like that. So where I'm like, okay, let's get these, let's come on and get it done. But we had a nice little routine that I think prayerfully at the start of the new year, we'll be getting right back into, because we were doing affirmations, we were praying, all these different type of things where I'm like, you wouldn't get that, at the school. But I'm wondering, so was there like a language barrier? Like what made you all decide to, and you probably didn't want to talk about this at all, girl, but
that's okay.
We can get into it, like your book and everything as well.
No,
but I guess I'm just curious what made you guys make the choice. I know why I did, because look, I was just observing too much. And I'm like, I don't know if I even want to, but anyway, so you can.
Yeah. Yeah. With my older two, it really was about needing to give them the freedom to succeed academically
Mm.
without the pressure of being in the pack with all the other kids.
Mm.
Now, with my youngest, I was dead set that I was not going to homeschool her.
Oh,
And we sent her to kindergarten, and that was 2019, 2020. So the last, she came home for spring break that year and never went back.
the Lord said no.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the whole school system shut
Hmm.
down from April until the end of the school year. So
That's
we were, I
interesting.
still remember like, okay, well, maybe they'll go back after an extra 2 weeks off. Nope. Nobody ever went
Wow.
back that year. And so then we sent her back in the fall of that year when she went to first grade.
Hmm.
And the school, it was a small Christian school. So they reopened. They had kind of a no symptoms policy. So if you had a runny nose, you couldn't come to school. So if you had a cold that you got over, but you were still coughing, you couldn't go to school.
Wow.
And part of what was going on for her too was there was a little bit of anxiety that was making her feel an upset stomach. So she would
Mm.
like be in school for a week and then miss 2 weeks and then go back for a little bit and then miss because she'd either get sick or she'd have a stomach ache and all of this stuff. So
Mm.
so by the middle of that year, I was like, what are we paying tuition for? So we
Mm.
brought her home and homeschooled her. And then we found out about this small group that had started. And it turns out that the teacher who is leading this group, the tutor for all the kids, was her kindergarten teacher, the most wonderful teacher in the world. So she's
Aw.
got right now, there's 11 kids and this wonderful teacher who is just so supportive and loving. She loves all of them. So we're like, can't send her back, but don't want to be having it on me. And
Yes,
so it's
understood.
just, God just brought the best possible option,
And
right?
and
Just
I'm
dropped it in our lap. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that I love that there are just options out here available.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we don't
Yeah.
have to do it the way that we think, and I
Yeah.
think that's the thing about life in general. Like a lot of people say you gotta do this and you gotta do that. And then you grow up to learn that no, you don't really,
Mhm. Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
really have to do all those things the way that people say. Like you can again just I hate to be like go with the flow, but do what God say do, and you
Mhm.
never know. Your life will turn out way better if you just go His path versus like thinking you have to do it a certain way, and then you're getting frustrated because it's not happening for you, and you're like, "Why? This is what I was told. This is what I was supposed to do. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
all of that." So,
Mhm.
man,
Yeah. Yeah. So, but you were talking a few minutes ago just about the struggle with motivating your son and how do you do that? And I totally
mm,
relate to that. And um, one of the things that God is showing me lately is just surrender and trust Him
mm,
and stop. Like God has had to tell me a few times lately, shut your mouth, girl. Just bite back those words that you want to say, like, why
mm-hmm,
can't you just do it?
mm-hmm,
These things that we want to say. And God's like, just trust me. Just
mm,
you be quiet. Let me work in this. And like,
mm,
oh, okay. I'm not in control, you mean? As though I hadn't already learned that lesson in my life many times that I'm not in control.
mm-hmm.
I'm still not in control. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
See, this how I know the Lord be, divine
Mm,
placement and all of that type of stuff. Because
yeah.
I need this conversation right now.
Mm,
Yes, I think
yeah.
he done told me to hush a little bit too, which has been interesting. Because I'm like, have you ever been in a place where you're like confused, a little bit confused? Because for example, okay, I'll just go ahead and tell you. Basically, long story short, people that watch the channel, they know I usually do this thing called the Daily Dose of Inspiration.
Mhm.
Well, I haven't felt led to do it every day anymore. Like I've only come when I felt led to come. And lately it's been like maybe like once a week type of thing.
Mhm.
This week I haven't even done it yet. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, am I getting lazy or are you giving me a break? Like I don't know which one is
Mm.
happening,
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and then but on one hand I'm like, well, I haven't felt led to like force myself to get up and do it again and all that type of stuff. I mean, there's been thousands of videos that I've made at this point. So even if I never did it again, I mean, people could still do the daily inspiration on their own if they go back to where I started, you know, stuff like that. And get I guess whatever words that God was giving me over the years. But I don't know. Is this resonating? Like, do you have some wisdom to bestow?
Yeah, and it is resonating. And I think one of the things that we really try to do in life and in business is like, I've got to just keep pushing. I've got to keep trying harder. I've got to keep going. And it's one of the things that God has shown me. And I wrote a bit about in Thriving in Grace that it's okay to step back. And I talk about the grace cycle, which is something that God showed to me in this book. And that when we identify an area, like we feel like we need to make a change or we need to shift in life, our tendency is to go into, okay, I'm going to just overhaul it all. I'm going to push through, or I'm going to work harder, or I'm going to go into warrior mode and make sure the things happen that need to happen. And God calls us to slow down and trust him, pay attention to the stories that are going on underneath, pay attention to the history. So, what has led up to where I am? Like for you, when you're talking about, I've done this for so long and now I'm not motivated. And I don't know what is behind that for you, but just taking time and exploring with God, what's underneath that loss of motivation? Is he moving you in a different direction? Or is there something that has come up for you that you're feeling like, I can't do this, or I don't want to do this anymore?
It's to be honest, like I still, for example, one of my main things I would do, I would set my alarm in the mornings. I would get up, I would Bible study, and whatever I studied that morning, I would share. So that's what I call my daily inspiration. And so I still do that stuff, but I don't feel led to share it, if that makes any sense. Like sometimes, and I was getting a lot of dreams and whatnot, and I felt like the dreams slowed up. So I've been kind of sad about that the past few days. I'm like, oh, I want dreams again. Lord, don't take it away. But because it's been interesting, like when I get the dream and then I'll get up in the morning and then I'm like interpreting and finding different things and being like, this hits home so much. This is crazy. And then, but some things I have felt, like I said, the times that I did feel led to share, I shared it. Other times I feel like I don't know if it was just for me or something that I just was like, and then moved on about my day and didn't share it. But so that's why I'm like, it's been confusing because I've still been doing the things, but I haven't been feeling like either I'm supposed to share it or.
Yeah. So, and one of the parts of the grace cycle is just acceptance. That, okay, I'm just going to accept that this is where I am, that God is not telling me, share this with the world. God is saying, this is just for you. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. So maybe there's stuff he wants to say to your people in a different way this time. Maybe,
That's true. That's true. I know I feel kind of guilty about it because my husband, I was telling my husband about it a few weeks ago, maybe like a month or so ago. And I was like, yeah, and I was telling him basically what I just told you. And he's like, you haven't been doing the juice? I'm like, no, I haven't really been doing it. He's like, so people not getting new juice? I'm like, the thing you've been doing for the past like 4 years, you haven't been like. So it was like, what about the people that used to watch you? Because there's like one guy that will watch or at least comment faithfully, like from Australia. Shout out to you, and if he's ever watching this. But he would comment almost every day. And he was like the only one for a long time, like him and my mom or whatever, that type of thing. And then there's been like this influx on our channel for a variety of reasons, but we ain't got to get into all that. But long story short, and then it seems like since then, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm just, I don't know. I'm like, am I discouraged by what I'm witnessing, or am I on a break, or is it just me time, or it's just been so, I'm not confused. Like I'm not in a state of like, oh, I'm so confused about it, but I'm just curious to know like, which one is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I falling short? Am I supposed to be sure? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it sounds like you've been through.
I have. Yeah. And curiosity is really powerful. So just keep diving in and asking God, what's going on? And are you shifting something or what? So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And like you just said, accepting it, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
that's the part that I think is hard for
Yeah.
a lot of us
Yeah.
to do. And I know I talk about it in different capacities, but yeah, just accepting that it's okay for me to have a
Mm-hmm.
break. You know what I'm saying? It's okay
It
for,
is.
him just it's just me and God time, and
Mm-hmm.
y'all ain't gotta know all my dreams and everything that he's telling me right now, And
Yeah.
so yeah, like you said, accepting it as well. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I have been, and it's been interesting. Like I've been doing therapy this year, so that's a new thing for me. This whole year, what I guess once I did, because it started off rough, to be honest with you, especially for me mentally. But that's one of those things that pushed me into starting to go to therapy and things like that. Because I was like, I just want to do whatever is going to help me, right? So then my son don't look at me when he gets older and be like, Mom, why didn't you just go to therapy or whatever? You know what I mean? And let him know that, hey, it's okay if you need to go and that type of thing. And I feel like it's been good. Because it's really helped me to like face things head on or have tough conversations that I probably would have just let slide or just tried to like look over and stuff like that. And so because all of that type of stuff has been happening all year, it's been an interesting journey. And then just like I said, accepting different things, letting it
Mm-hmm.
be.
Mm-hmm.
It's been interesting.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
I know
It's been a
we're gonna
year.
be in 2025 by the time y'all see this, but
Yeah, I know. And it's so easy for us to start to judge ourselves. And I don't know if you go there. I know I can be really hypercritical and fall into that. And I mean, I think it's a lot of women do.
yeah.
And just to let go of the judgments, that
Yeah.
doesn't help us anyway. It never
Mhm.
serves me to judge myself and to be critical.
Mm.
So that's something I've learned, that I've got to just let go of the judgments and be in this place of acceptance
Mm.
and look for what God's trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because we're all striving to be more like him, right? That's what we're supposed to
Mhm.
be doing. And I
Yeah.
think even that was something I was learning this year too, that, as good as we think we are, right? As good as like, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that. And then you fall short in one way or another. And I just got that reminder that that's why Jesus had to do what he did, because there was no way, we
Mhm.
all have sinned and fallen short. And we're all, needing to be more like him, but
Mhm.
never really gonna quite be that. At least according to my understanding. I don't know if you got more revelation for me, but I was like, my understanding is that we're not going to achieve that. But the thing is to be striving, right, and
Mhm.
doing your best. So anyway, I feel like all of
Yeah.
that kind of goes in hand in
Yeah.
hand
Yeah.
with
That's
judging yourself
true.
about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and I don't know that we even need to be striving. I don't think God
Mm,
calls us to a try harder
mm,
Christianity. I think it is a process of continuing to surrender and open ourselves up to his grace
mm,
and let him just fill us with his love. Um, and that is a lesson that I've learned in the last, even just in the last few years, that when I really open myself up to his love,
mm-hmm,
that does so much more to change me and help me be who he wants me to be and who I want to be,
mm-hmm,
than the try harder kind of
mm.
mentality.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. It reminded me of something, but now it went away. So maybe that was just for me.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, I totally get and understand that as well. That, and I guess when I say it's not, I don't know how to explain beyond what I said a second ago. Like I get what you're saying about,
Mhm,
just accepting again his gift and being who he called you to be. But here's another thing, and I don't know if this is getting us into more of your, about your book and everything
mhm.
like that, but this conversation of purpose, because in some ways it's been very interesting. I feel like, I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm walking in my purpose,
Right.
living in my purpose. Like even this conversation with you today, I feel
Mhm.
like it's very divine, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm here, receiving the things I need right now. I don't know if you, receiving something from me, but the thing is like, I feel those things, but at the same time too, I'm like, what is my purpose? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, am I doing, what you may need to do? Like, is there more? Is there something else?
Mm.
All those questions.
Yeah. Those are
You,
those are
you
great questions. Those are such good questions to ask. I wish I could answer it for you, but
I
I'm
want
not God. So
no. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
so that's the thing. It's like, so it's very interesting to be in a place where you feel like you're exactly where you're supposed to be and doing exactly
Mhm.
what you're supposed to be doing. But at the same time, I guess maybe just wanting to make sure or
Mhm. Mhm.
that type of thing. I don't know. Do you feel like that's double-mindedness, or is that like humbleness to know, like, hey, Lord, you're in control, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm, you know, doing your
Mhm.
will your way, like,
Yeah, it really sounds to me like the humble surrender.
you know,
It doesn't sound like double-mindedness. It sounds
okay.
like actually focus on what really matters.
Mm,
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah.
Don't get me started, man. This just happened the
Yeah.
other day. I kind of laughed at it, but but it also was confusing. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to share. So, long story short, so I work at the church I go to, and they do all this staff stuff every now and then. So one of my coworkers texted me and was like, sent this list of questions of like, oh, the pastor wants us all to, fill out these questions, and then stuff like, what's your favorite place, and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know if my mind is just on another level. I don't know, but I was like, my mind was blank to questions like that. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it's not like I have a favorite. Oh, I have to go and sit next to the rock on the beach. Like I don't like. I mean, I want more experiences. I want to travel more and things of that nature. But like, I don't have a place where I'm like, oh, I want to go there. That's my absolute favorite place. Because I guess my mind has not been. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, long story short. So in the question, it might be weird, and they're probably gonna roll their eye. I don't know what they're gonna think when they read it, but the things that I put to answer it was like, well, our home, and I'm not talking about even our house. I'm talking about like the home that our me and my husband and our family, that home
Mhm.
vibe is my favorite. And then outside of it, I was like, my dreams. Which they're probably gonna look at me like, what? This girl talking about she, but I don't know what else to say. And because I don't know if any place compares to like, you probably think I'm crazy right now. But anyway,
Uh-uh. I
like,
don't. I don't.
I don't know if any place compares in that capacity. Because like I said, waking up, receiving those dreams, being like, Lord, what does it mean? And then getting
Mhm.
revelations and being like, whoa, this is great. I don't have that about a place. If that
Mhm.
makes Does this make sense? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
or am I too heavenly minded that I'm no earthly good?
man, I remember that. My parents used to say that when we were younger, and I've realized that the more heavenly minded you are, the more earthly good you are. The more we have our feet planted in
Yeah,
the truth of
confirmation, man.
God and his love, the
Yeah,
more good we are to others. Yeah.
I think
So,
so. I agree.
yeah. And so I was going to encourage you that it sounds to me like where you are right now is in this place of a deep connection to God and really listening to him. And so the temporal things aren't aren't like pulling at your soul and your heart in the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that confirmation. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
in the moment, it feels real silly, and I'm like, I don't have anything else to say, and I'm like, Lord, please just give me a place, or I'm like, I can't even think of a place, or it was other questions too that you would think would be just simple, and they're like, what do you say all the time? I'm like, if the Lord's will. I'm like, but I do say that all the time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I
Mhm.
do, because I've become more intentional about saying it to be sure to be like, you know what, yeah, I don't want to, make preconceived notions about what my life is going to be, because I know that, and this is all biblical, and we all church people, but I don't know what they're gonna. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. I guess I'll let you know in the
Yeah.
future whenever
Yeah. Let me
whenever I
know.
find out what the questions was about. Then I'm like,
Yeah.
this is what they said about me. But anyway, I guess I shared it to say even about the things that you were sharing about we were talking about purpose at one point, and then also what you're saying about your book, and I would definitely love to learn more about what made you write the book, and
Mhm.
all these different things.
Yeah, so when I turned 50, I became a fitness instructor.
Mm,
And so I've been doing that for a little while.
that sounds so
I
great.
Yeah. So but as I started teaching fitness classes, and I worked at one gym that was like really intense workouts,
Mm,
and I began to look at what we were doing there. Not that it was bad, but people could get totally physically healthy and the peak of fitness physically and still have messed up relationships and still, not be healthy and happy in their hearts and in their
mm-hmm.
souls. And I looked at this and went, like Jesus said, what does it profit a person to gain the whole world and lose their soul?
Yes.
What's the benefit? What's the profit in becoming a physically perfectly healthy specimen and
Mm,
not being healthy in the other areas of your life?
yes.
So God started talking to me about the whole self, the heart, soul, mind, and strength, like Jesus talked about, that we
Mm-hmm.
should love God with all of ourselves, heart, soul, mind, strength. So what does that look like to be healthy and to
Mm,
experience shalom, wholeness, peace, rest in those areas of our lives?
mm,
So my husband is the guy who, you want to know what the Bible says about any subject, you go ask him, and he will dig it all up, and he will synthesize it, and he will come to you with, here you go. This is what the Bible says about whatever. So I asked him,
mm,
what does the Bible teach about physical wellness, about mental and emotional and spiritual wellness? And so
mm,
he did a ton of study. And then we decided to expand from there also to not just about me and my core self, but also how I enter the world. So we talk in the book about relationships and vocation, what we do with our lives, and finances. And
mm,
so those are all areas of how we as, whole people engage with the world around us.
mm-hmm.
And so that kind of forms the center of the book. And then as I was writing it, began to explore what are the things we need to use, the tools we need to use to come to these places of growing. Like you said
Mm,
earlier, we're never going to fully arrive. We're never going to get it all right. But that
mm-hmm.
doesn't mean we don't seek to grow
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
experience more peace and joy and wholeness. Um,
Yes.
yeah. God showed me how we can use curiosity. We can use connection. We need connection with God. We need connection with ourselves and connection with others. And
Mm,
then he just showed me this model of his grace where it's how he overcomes the impossible that is, so that he can accomplish his good purposes. And
mm,
so, yes, our salvation is one of those things where God overcame what was impossible for us, but there's so many other areas of life where his grace just crushes what is impossible for us so that he can do what he wants to do in us and through us and around us.
man, that's so good. Look, I know, I'm sure the book is blessing a lot of people's,
Mhm.
and so kudos to you and look and hubby out there researching, okay,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I resonate with all the things that you're sharing here, and I'm curious. So, have you always been a believer, or what's your come to Jesus?
Oh gosh, this is a beautiful story. So I grew up, my family was faithful churchgoers, but it was what we did. Um, And so when I was 10 years old, a coworker of my mom's came to Jesus, and then he led her to Christ, and she started
Mm,
talking to us and our family. So up until
mm,
that point, I was one of those who believed in the cosmic scales, like I do enough good to outweigh the bad, then I'll be in, God will be happy
mhm,
with me.
mhm.
And so my mom started talking about invite Jesus into your heart. I was like, why do I need to do that other thing? What is that about? That was
Mm,
really how I responded.
wow.
But
How old were you? If you don't, sorry.
yeah, no, I was 10 years old at that point.
Mm,
And then I saw God change my mom. Like, she became able to love us in a way that she never could before. And it
mm,
was like a month. I was like, oh, this thing she's got, this is real. I want in on that. And
wow.
so, yeah, my whole family, I was the oldest of the kids, but my dad and I and my younger sister and brother, we all came to Jesus at about the
Good.
same time, and it was amazing.
I
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
Man, that is such a blessing. Look, to God be the glory. Look, each one teach one,
Yeah.
as they say, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
still power in one-to-one. So shout
There
out to that
is.
gentleman that
Yeah.
helped your mom. Yeah.
Yep. 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 Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I mean, don't sorry about that.
Okay.
No, but yeah, so I mean, so what else have you been working on then? Is it just the book and your fitness, or what else can we look out for when it comes to Miss Karen?
Yeah. Um, during COVID, my husband and I, again, he's the one who will do all the research and what the Bible teaches. So I was like, I want to do a gratitude journal. And so had asked him to do study. And so we had pulled together this 6-week journal called The Fruit of Gratitude. Every day has got a scripture verse and a time to just settle it in your soul through quiet meditation, and then a question. So it helps to start from a place of connecting to God's love and goodness, and not starting from the you're supposed to be thankful place where most teaching starts. So from that place, just the sense of gratitude grows naturally. So we've had that out on Amazon for 4 years now. And then we've got a Bible study that goes along with Thriving in Grace. It's called Bringing Grace Home. That's going to be coming out pretty soon. And so that's like a Bible study workbook with individual study and an opportunity to have whether meeting with a small group or even just another friend and discussing what God is teaching you, because it's so important to have community and people to support you.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on right now. And yeah, we're pretty excited. There's probably more stuff God's going to lead us into, but right now this is where we are.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
amazing. Like, I mean, I am curious to know, like, how'd you get into, or why'd you decide to publish in particular? Because I know some people, they get ideas, they never write them down, which are, we know the Bible tells us what to do. Okay, write the vision, make it plain, things like that. But sometimes it just stays in your journals or things of that nature. So, but obviously, you guys have published, and at least 3 works that you just mentioned today, and things like that. And so, I mean, not to say, well, what made you do that or whatever, but maybe encouragement for it to get out of the head and get out on the page and get out there to the world. And like, did you know that, hey, this needs to be shared, or what made you just go the extra mile?
Yeah. I mean, this is a message that needs to be shared. Nobody else talks about, there are authors who talk about, emotional wellness and emotional health. And there are authors who talk about different things, different areas of this, but nobody's put it all together. And at the same time, like it took me 3.5 years to write the book, because I was, living life and dealing with a lot of stuff going on in our family. And also just wrestling with, who am I to talk about this? And, I've come to realize that God actually takes a lot of pleasure and a lot of joy in taking the most unlikely people and using them to bring his truth and his, everybody who is a famous Christian author right now started somewhere. And whatever, no matter how many people God uses to reach with this message, whether it's 25 or 2,500, this is something that will change lives. And so it was just a obedience to what God was asking me to do.
That's what it's about. And even what you were saying earlier about the physical health, that people so focused on that in their physique. I guess the things that we can see versus the things that we don't see. We all tend to focus more on that. And so, obviously your resources are helping us to shift our hearts and minds a little bit, as the word tells us to do, renew our mind, right? About, what's important at the end of the day. And so look, congratulations for being obedient, right? And going forth. And I'm sure, again, it's touching many people. And you've blessed me today by coming and chit-chatting with little old me.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Miracle. It's been a great conversation, and I really appreciate just the opportunity to talk to you and just hearing what's going on in your life a little bit too, because it's so good to know, we're both together in the struggles and in the battles, and we're not alone. And so that's so encouraging.
Yes, ma'am. Like it's not like you just took the words from my mouth, but it's definitely encouraging and inspiring to know that, like you said, we're not alone in that, because a lot of times you can't, especially on the Christian walk now. You can definitely feel alone and feel like, am I
Mhm.
the only one thinking this way? Like, again, why am I answering this question in my dreams and not someplace? Lord, am I the only one you're talking to this way? And then you talk to other people that are going through their journeys as well, or been through, or whatever the case may
Mhm.
be. And like I said, I feel like this conversation has been confirmation for me. It's been confirmation about homeschool. It's been
Mm.
confirmation about my parenting style. I might get a little better because, I'm like, how's the rest of these grades gonna go? I'm gonna have to just transfer you to your papa when it comes. I'm probably good for the little elementary grades, but I'm gonna have to probably pass you
Mhm.
over to papa once you get in the other ones. But we're gonna see how it all plays out. But again, just I just feel like confirmations around the board. So thank you so much
You're welcome.
for those for me. And then I hope that this is encouraging and inspiring the other people. I would feel free to share, whatever you would like to share. Your social media, how to get the books, whatever you feel like to share with us at this time. Feel free.
Yeah, people can find me through my website, KarenADittman.com. And also the books are all on Amazon. If so, the Fruit of Gratitude Journal, you can buy the paperback or even Kindle on Amazon. But if you want a beautiful hardcover copy, there's actually a link through the Amazon page for the paperback book where you can email or you can actually buy a hardcover. It's spiral bound. It's makes it nice and easy to open and lay flat and write in. So those are, my books are available on Amazon, and you can find me. You can follow me on Facebook too if you want.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming by and chit chatting, and you're welcome back anytime.
Great. I would love to come back, and we've got so many conversations we could have about so many things, Miracle. So that'd be great.
Wishing I would have a one night affair.
Thank you so much for watching the GSL Talk Show, and thank you to Miss Karen for joining us tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and check out Miss Karen's books and the rest of her endeavors. Have a good night.